Hey YouTube, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness, where we talk about everything having to do with preparedness. Preparedness is a lifestyle. It truly is. Having the ability to feed our families, take care of ourselves, be self-sufficient as possible is the key of preparedness. Big part of what our ancestors did just naturally, normally. It wasn't called preppers back then, it was just called being an adult. We've lost a lot of that because we've become soft. We're very, very blessed in the United States and generally speaking around the world. We've had a lot of years of good times. Well, we're not in good times anymore. So the need to be prepared is ever increasing. The good times we've been experiencing for so long seem to be ending. You guys know what's going on. You've seen the signs. Inflation, shortages, increased prices everywhere, the world conflicts, the lack of ability to get what you need. A lot of stuff going on right now. Things have really been going up in price at the grocery store, all around, for most goods that we use and that we need on a daily basis. This is why it's imperative to prepare now. This winter is not going to be good. I have a feeling it's supposed to be a really cold winter, which will mean more people are running heaters, etc. more often, thus taxing the power grid. I really have a feeling the power grid will go down this winter. So I feel it will be a cold, dark winter. People talk about that a lot. But I think in reality, this is going to happen this year. So we need to be ready. Ready by doing things like this behind me, this stack of firewood, is in my new woodshed, my redneck woodshed. If you want to see the build, how I built it, it's on Patreon. Links in the description below. It's $1 a month. Just tons of good content on there. I build a lot of things on there. I show how to do things a lot more than here. A lot more personal there, and I can speak my mind and not in parables due to this platform. But anyway, this winter is imperative. I've talked a lot recently, or several times recently, about what we can do to prepare for this winter. Having stuff like firewood, if you have a wood heater or a wood stove, fireplace, yes. If you don't, then obviously it doesn't apply to you. That's why a lot of things in the preparedness community, it depends. It depends on your situation, where you are. Everything doesn't apply to everybody. Everybody doesn't need to have the super high-end skills with these things to be effective or to be part of the solution, protecting their family no matter what happens or anything else in SHTF. Some people are just, they're going to be doing other things, and that's okay. There's a division of labor. That's important. To me, that's important. That thing is important, very important, because I'm one of the people that can employ that very effectively. But coming up for this winter, I've talked about all the things like isolating into one room, blankets, sleeping bags, different sources of heat, etc. This is all very important. But some things that I think is often overlooked by preppers is we stockpile food all the time. Water, though, I really think water is something that we need to take a round turn on as a community. Stockpiling a lot more water and the ability to clean the water, whether it be treating it or filtering it or both. Both is needed sometimes. You need to learn about that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll do a video about it. I've done videos on Patreon about that. But anyway, identifying sources of water around you is very important. No matter how much water you have, you'll run out. So how can you replenish it? If you live in a city, well, you might be a lot less likely or a lot less able to find sources of water, of clean, drinkable water around you. But office buildings have, those water fountain, not water fountain, the water container things. You push a spigot and the water comes out. I forget what they're called. that everybody, you know, that people stand around and talk and stuff like that. There's also city water towers, there's reservoirs, there's a lot of different things. And it rains in cities, but, you know, it goes through all the smog and stuff like that also. So it's like nasty. I wouldn't collect rainwater in a city unless I had some serious filtration capability. But stockpiling water is very important. Every time I go to the store, well, almost every time I go to the store, I pick up a case of waters, you know, just bottled waters. And I stockpile water in jugs. Yeah, I stockpile water in everything. Everything I could possibly put water in. And I live in the Pacific Northwest, where it rains all the time. So, yes, water is very important no matter where you live. If you live in an arid environment, obviously it's more important. But anyway, there's a lot more to it than just water. Stockpiling food, stockpiling everything you think you might need. Things cost a lot more now, and our ability to procure our preps may be greatly affected also by the cost of those preps, and or maybe job loss, or, you know, companies downsizing. There's a lot of stuff that's involved with our ability to procure preps now. That's why I love the fact that I have God-given ability, talent per se, of rednecking stuff, making stuff out of nothing. This woodshed, like I said, I show on Patreon, it cost me $0. Actually, it cost me some nails and screws. That was it. I sourced all the stuff I had from laying around. You can see the pallet right there. The stuff I'm standing on is some plasticized, like, it's like cardboard. It's corrugated, and predominantly I only used 2 sheets of it in here, one that was already cut and one full one, because I want to save the majority of them for a greenhouse build that I'll also be doing on Patreon. I'll also be doing more composting capability builds on Patreon, and a security privacy fence that I'm coming up and coming, as well as a couple other things. I forget all what I'm going to be building pretty soon, but I love building. I love just figuring things out and making stuff work. But that's a great ability, especially in these lean times. And as things get worse and worse and worse, our ability to figure things out and make do is going to be vitally important. That's why I always say this is one of the most important things in preparedness. Your mind, your ability to figure things out, your ability to adapt and overcome. Military terms, semper gumby, always flexible. That is something that you need to learn how to do. Roll with the punches. Things are going to be changing. Murphy's Law, what can go wrong will go wrong. And no matter how well we prepare, there may be something that comes up that's beyond our control. That's why in the preparedness community we also talk about the rule of 3. And 1 is none, 2 is 1, that kind of thing. Redundancy in your preparations. That is very important. The rule of 3 I know has to do with, I misspoke, that has to do with, you know, 3 minutes without oxygen, you know, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, all that kind of stuff. Yes, 3 hours without shelter if you're hypothermic, those kind of things. But the redundancy in your preparedness is very important. If you just have one of something, well, what happens if it breaks? What happens if you lose it? What happens? And if you're not out actually using your gear and using it, you don't know if it's going to break. This is the time to use your stuff. And I know I'm kind of all over in this video. This is kind of like a general preparedness video. If you're not out using your stuff now, then you're wrong. Because now is the time that you want whatever it is you have to break. If it's going to break. If it's not good enough quality, then you want to find out now. You don't want it failing you when your life depends on it. I don't want that going down when my life depends on it. That's why I've set that up the way I have to be good to go. Anyway, so yes, general preparedness. This winter is going to be rough. Food, water, blankets, proper footwear, socks, all these things. Foot powder to keep your feet dry. There's so much to it. Don't get discouraged. Maybe you need skis, maybe you need snowshoes, maybe you need chains for your vehicle. Think about these things now, because the odds are, the way things are headed, you may not be able to get them when you need them. And avoid the rush, of course. We're preppers. We're proactive, not reactive. We don't want to rush to the store when it starts snowing to get snow chains right? Because that's when everybody else is going to be there. And things are going to get more and more expensive. It's just the way it is. Inflation is going to get worse. The grid will probably go down. That's why I prepare personally to live and to exist without the grid. I don't worry. I don't really spend too much time on, off-grid capabilities as far as like solar, wind, those kind of things. Creating my own power. I do have generators. I do have fuel for them, backup, stuff like that. I do have other resources. But I predominantly prep to exist without a grid, because no matter what, things will break. Things will go down. Even if this is an extended long-term event, 10, 20 years long, well, even your solar systems may not operate because your batteries will fail. What's the life of a battery? You'll run out of fuel for your generators, etc. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. We don't know how long the situation is going to be or how bad it's going to get. But I encourage you guys to do your best to get ready for this winter. It's not looking good, and this is just some advice, trying to empower you guys. But before I go any further, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up, share the videos, comment on the video, comment below, and that little heart with thanks in it, super thanks. If you want to help out the channel, it'd be greatly appreciated. Then maybe I can afford to, actually get materials and not have to redneck everything I do. But anyway, I don't feel obligated. It would just be greatly appreciated if you feel like doing that. Go to all the other prepper channels also. I'm only one source of information. A lot bigger channels than me, and some a lot smaller than my channel that have great information. Don't just concentrate on the fear. Don't just concentrate on what's going to happen if, and stuff like that. Learn skills. If you're really serious about this, and if you actually want to survive, not just sit there and order some stuff on Amazon, then you're going to have skills. You're going to have to be used to being outside. You're going to have to be used to working in adverse conditions. You're going to have to be fit. Fitness is key. Fitness is a big part of my life. I love being fit. I feel so much better. I can perform so much better, and it's just all around. I have a greater chance of being successful in an adverse situation, in an adverse environment, than if I'm not fit. So get fit, eat healthy, whole, natural foods. Take care of your body. Get all those good nutrients and supplements, all the stuff. Macronutrients, micronutrients. Your body will thank you. You'll live long, you'll be happier. You'll set a good example for those around you. Have a wonderful day, and blessings to you and yours.